reflection of who I am. You don't try to explain it away by saying, these are the terms that I use. You can't use an insensitive remark and then turn around and say, this is what I use. Because it's telling me, Skip, that you've used it before. Because if that's what you use to describe people that lie, oh, you to use that, is it all people that lie or just people of a certain race that lie?
Okay. Then in his explanation to ESPN, Gruden also said that in the same barrage of emails, and this is interesting, that he couldn't remember the one to D. Smith, but he did remember one in which he used a very harsh term to describe Roger Goodell because it was in a lockout situation.
Right.
John was very upset, according to John, with that lockout situation because it was, as he said, depriving a lot of great coaches and players of their ability to perform because of the lockout.
Right.
So he said that he used the very disparaging term to describe Goodell as if that should discount the use of the shot that he took at D. Smith.
Right.
Well, that's what you call false equivalency because you can't compare the two. It's offensive to me to the point of almost comical that you would try to undercut one by saying, well, I took this shot at him.
I took that shot at the commissioner.
Oh, so that makes that one okay? Really? I don't think so.
And Gruden understands, Skip, that Roger Goodell works at the behest of the owners. The owners locked the players out. It wasn't the players like, we don't want to play. They locked them out. They put chains on the door and says, you can't come in here. So that's where his anger should be, not at D. Smith.
Yeah. Okay, so to be fair, I have yet to hear one player in that locker room say he had a problem with what Coach Gruden said. Well, I also know, because I covered John's team in Oakland, he is quite intimidating. That's part of his style. And I don't believe anyone at this point would have the guts to speak up. I hope I'm wrong about that.
You're probably right.
Well, it's just they're fearing for their jobs or any retribution that could come their way inside the organization.
My thing is, if you thought that was okay, that was something Jon Gruden ever would have said to Warren Sapp or Derek Brooks?
Well, obviously not.
Well, so clearly, he absolutely. My thing is, Skip, is that the way I talk to people in public is the way I talk behind their back. Because that's just the way it is, Skip. I got courtesy for people, and I don't want people to be disparaging of me and my race. So therefore, I'm not going to be disparaging of them and theirs or their religion or whatever the case may be. John, you're wrong on this one. Instead of just owning up to it, don't try to say, well, this is what I call people, because no matter what, there's not a situation in which you can use an insensitive remark to justify the remark that you use. No way, no how.
Okay. Now, back to fairness here.
Yes.
The great Tim Brown, who I got to know well.
I know Tim.
Covered him in Oakland. He played for Gruden in Oakland, obviously. He went to the nth degree to defend John, saying, never, ever have I gotten anything from him that made me even pause to think out, that didn't come off right. Then last night on NBC, Mike Tirico, who I worked with for many years at ESPN, said that he worked for 7 years with Jon Gruden covering Monday Night Football, that they were a tandem, obviously, and traveled 3 days a week with John. And he also indicated never, ever did he see any hint of that kind of mindset or any sort of racist indication from Gruden at all. The great Tony Dungy said last night, look, I'm paraphrasing how I said it, but he just basically said, and he's a good man.
Yeah, Tony's very forgiving.
He's very forgiving.
He's a great man, but he's a very forgiving.
What he believes about life.
It absolutely is.
And he said, look, it happened 10 years ago. He apologized. Let's move forward. That was his stance.
But it was a blowjob apology, Skip.
Okay, I got it. And yet, I give Gruden some positive here that nobody has leaped to condemn him yet. Maybe it will come out. I can only go on exactly what that email said, and it's indefensible to me. And I'm a little surprised, even though, and by the way, Mike Tirico said it's wrong what he wrote, but I never saw any hint or indication of this. Okay, so it wasn't that they were trying to defend what he wrote in the email last night on NBC, because that you can't. Well, we can't, but we're going one more step to, you can't repair this. And I actually liked what you said about you can't punish him. Gruden was asked last night, well, do you expect to hear from the NFL? And he just said, well, I don't know. Like, let's wait and see what happens.
Right.
I think he came across that he's expecting to be punished. I think he already got punished.
Right. The punishment is going to have to stand before those black men every single day for as long as he's a head coach and have them. I don't care. Skip, once someone has said something like this, you look at them with a side eye. You look at them differently because you know he's capable of saying such things now. Whereas before, as Tim Brown said, he never gave me any indication.
Nope.
Mike Tirico said he never gave me any indication.
Nope.
But now that he's giving you indication, do you still feel that same way? After reading that email, knowing that he wrote that in privacy, thinking that it was never going to see the light of day, do you still feel as confident as you did 36 hours, 48 hours before you read this email? Do you still feel confident that this is not who Jon Gruden is?
Bingo. Great question. No, you can't. You can't feel as confident. Let me say that I do know a lot of white people who are incapable of writing that email. It's just not in their psyche. It'd be appalling to them to even think in those terms, because I think anybody knows that's just flat out racist.
Thank you.
Come on. What are we talking about?
He couldn't find another way to make his point. I'm so upset at D. Smith. D. Smith is leading these guys down a road that they shouldn't be headed on. They should be come to the table. Let's get this thing done. Let's get football. He wanted to make a point so strong that he went to this to make the point. Skip, sometimes when you use curse words, you want to put emphasis. You want to know, I want to put emphasis to let you know just how upset I am at you.
Okay.
He wanted D. Smith to know just how upset he was at him, so he put some emphasis on it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to give Gruden a pass for the dumb Maurice or however he tried to nickname him.
Right.
Because I've been around D. Smith, and you can say a lot of things about him, but
he ain't dumb.
No, he's not dumb.
No.
And then you followed up with the racist shot. And it's a doubly racist email to me. Mm-hmm. He's dumb and he's got the big lips.
Right.
That's how it comes across.
The dumb is the prototypical stereotype that they've been using for hundreds and hundreds of years.
And he drives it home. Right. And to me, drives the last nail in the, so to speak, coffin with the lips. I can't even say it. It's just, it's so over the edge that you can't get it back.
Right.
And from here on, however long Jon coaches, and obviously they got off to a nice start. And then, by the way, I want to drive this point home. You cannot tell me that this incident did not impact that team yesterday, that they showed you their misgivings about their coach because they came out about as flat as they were just flat all day. They should have beaten the Chicago Bears.
They should have.
Who weren't very good themselves.
Nope.
But the Bears were a little less worse than the Las Vegas Raiders, right?
Right, correct.
And Derek Carr played his worst game of the year and fell out of the MVP talk to me. And he had a shot at the end on a fourth down play and just completely overthrew. Okay, so you can't tell me that this didn't just knock the psyche sideways of all especially the black players. Like, really? Because the team's around 75% black, obviously, as you know, because the whole league is.
Right.
And you can't tell me they didn't go out there with not sure, like should I really
play hard for him and know he thinks like that of us?
Right. Okay. So in the end, I know life goes on, and I know his ex-players and the people who know him from his broadcast days will stand behind him. Right. But to your point, and I love your bottom line is, you can't tell us that those people won't be thinking twice about him now.
Yeah, apology, Skip, is offered without explanation. You don't try to explain why you did it. I was wrong for doing it. I was upset. I was wrong. I apologize. Don't try to explain it away. Say, well, this is the terminology that I use when I'm saying someone is lying. You don't offer an explanation in that context. I was wrong, guys. I apologize. I said something in a moment of anger, that I can't get back, but what I can do is to try to show you that this is not a true reflection of who I am. Move on. But when you start trying to explain I can't remember, but I remember this. Skip, I bet you Jon Gruden can remember every play he called in that Super Bowl win. And that was almost 20 years ago. But somehow, he did remember, I said some other things also, Skip. Trying to get out in front of those. Well, you should have got out in front of this. But you didn't think it was going to come to light.
Nope.
Not sure Gruden is done answering questions about this either.
No.
It's just the beginning in so many ways, and I just worry about the locker room and how these players will view him moving forward. We're going to shift back to covering some football on the field because, yes, Skip's Cowboys, they got it done again. How far will they go this season?
Not
Plus,
far.
Tom Brady
Not far.
is he on track to win another MVP after throwing 5 touchdowns? This was a Skip weekend in so many ways, and we'll talk about it next.